Hello internet, thank you Greta here, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Right, so I've just got back from Avengers Endgame, right, okay, so, right, that's my review, at least for now, okay. Some non-spoiler things first, honestly, non-spoiler, genuine non-spoiler, Thor is the best thing in this movie, and, yeah, no, okay, lots of emotions. In terms of pacing, no, it. I will start with, it is a long movie, so 3 hours, but it doesn't feel long, except for maybe the first sort of 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes, but mostly because the first 20 minutes is setting up a particular tone, then the middle is, what we expect from an Avengers movie, and then the last 20 minutes, well, let's say they're wrapping up 10 years. Obviously, I won't say any more than that in this non-spoiler section. Let's see, is there anything else I can talk about that's non-spoilery? There's a lot going on, but still kind of easy to follow. Just occasionally, and hang on, no, I'll talk about that in a second because that might be getting into slight spoiler territory. The effects, flipping amazing. The music, the soundtrack, kick. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, now onto the sort of spoilery section. This is a immediate reaction video. I got back from the cinema about 40 minutes ago. Quarter to midnight is when it finished. It's now half midnight, and yay. So, onto the spoilery stuff. So, if you haven't seen the movie, go away. Be gone. Just shoo. I don't even know why you're here. There's no clickbait. I'm literally just going to put spoiler rambling, so back. Anyway, I'll do a more sort of detailed review maybe later, probably not, but so, right, I'll start with the big one, shall I? So yeah, seriously, spoiler, go away if you haven't, or if you've seen the spoilers anyway, but you don't want to know how it happened, then also go away and watch it and then come back if you feel inclined. So the big thing that happens, right, everyone was like, oh, who's gonna die? I managed to avoid all the spoilers, despite, the internet's and several students' attempts to change that. I managed to avoid it. And, yeah, but let's face it, we were all expecting at least one major death in this particular movie, and the one I thought was correct. But there was also one that I was not expecting, and I'm kind of like, oh, they're actually sticking with this. So, cool. That being, final spoiler warning, bang, 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 go away. Tony Stark. Yes, so that happened. Okay, I cried a total of 3 times in this movie, in the last sort of half hour. When Tony died, obviously. Then when they place us the wreath on the lake where he, had his family. And the 3rd time, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, that was the death that I was expecting to happen. But again, I did not know how it was going to happen, and I think they handled it quite well. I think I kind of saw it coming about halfway through the movie going, actually, no, I tell a lie. It was fairly obvious from the beginning, but they were kind of hinting towards exactly what might be going down in terms of his personal sacrifice. The second you found out he had a daughter, she's going to end up fatherless. I'm sorry, but that was kind of like he's got stuff to lose there. So yeah, Kat is also upset that Tony's dead. So yeah, the whole, that was pretty awesome, and I think it is such a fitting thing that his last words, at least I think I was sort of blinded by tears, and I think I was just, his last words were, I am Iron Man, and I was like, yes, nice callback to the first movie, well, the first MCU movie, so, that was, okay, so that was good. Right, the second death, which I was not expecting, but also kind of, yeah, it makes sense, and I'm also glad that they flipped it a bit, just in case you're still here for whatever reason, spoilers, flipping Black Widow, whoa, I was like, holy because, okay, they get into this sort of convoluted time travel paradox malarkey wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff, and I was like, okay, so they have to go to certain points in their own history to get the stones in order to reverse the snap. Okay, fine. So I was like, okay, so they're going to pinch the soul stone off Thanos once he's retrieved it? No, they go before that. And I'm like, okay, so they're either going to find some loophole around this with, Hugo Weaving Red Skull person kind of floating there going, an eternal exchange, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so they see that and they just sat there around kind of thinking about it going, okay, so they're going to think of something. And then they do the whole thing of, I've done some terrible shit. Oh, me too. I think we both know who it is. Yes, I think we both do. I think we need to be on the same page. It's me. No, it's me. And they do this whole thing of, okay, I'll allow you to do it. And then they punch each other and try and stop each other from falling off the cliff. And it looked at one point like Hawkeye was going to whoosh off the edge. And I was like, that's so typical, it had to be them. But no, she's the one who... So flipping heck, yeah, and they made that stick, and they made a point about it. They made a point of it later, when that first re-snap happens, Hulk Banner, Ban Hulk, whatever we call him now. That was an interesting point. I'll maybe get back to that. He was like, I tried to get her back, and Cap's like, I know, I miss her, that sort of thing. So I was like, oh, they're actually sticking to it. So if they hadn't gone down this route, that would have meant that if they'd gone down a different route and they had stuck with that, then Gamora would have stayed dead, like I thought she would have, in the last one. But then wibbly wobbly timey wimey, there is a Gamora around, but not our Gamora-ish. Lots of wibbly wobbly stuff happening. Right. Yes. Okay. Right. Back to that third moment that made me cry. So they do this thing where all 6 Infinity Stones have to go back to the point in time where they were stolen. And so they say, it'll be however long he takes, Captain America, and it'll be back in about 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nothing. And I'm like, I know exactly what. Turn around. He's there. He's been there the whole time. Turn around. There he is. He's on a bench. And they're not terribly subtle about this. He's facing the back. And, Sam and Bucky are like, oh, what's going on? So Sam walks forward. Oh, look, he's an old man and he's got a wedding ring. Which is like, oh, that's not the bit that made me cry. I mean, it would have if I'd have been a bit more attached to Captain America as a character. He's grown on me over the last 10 years. But he was never really my favourite. No. What made me cry was when he handed the shield to Sam, and I was like, ah! So yeah, that got me. It still got me, actually, because that was just like, oh, he's passing the torch down to Sam, who's been there for a long time. I mean, it wouldn't have made sense if it was Bucky, because, even though, brainwashed, but also murderer, awkward. So that was an awesome moment, and I was just like, oh my god, and I can't remember for the life of me the actor's name. I'll look it up. He did an amazing job. Whew, so well done to him showing the emotion. That was another thing I really appreciate about this movie. Even though it was a bit of this machismo teasing towards the end between Thor and Star-Lord, yada yada yada. Men are allowed to show emotion in this movie. Yes, that's what I want. Real men can cry. Okay, that is how it works, and I'm so glad that they went down that route. In terms of everyone's reaction to Tony, especially bless him, little Tom Holland. I was like, oh no, that's what set me off in terms of the tears, because I was like watching the life drain out of Tony's eyes. I was like, I'm fine, I'm surrounded by people. No, it's fine. There's popcorn crunching. I'll just focus on that noise. But the second that kid, Tom Holland, I know you're 20 something. But you get the idea. So the second he started, saying, he said Tony. He stopped saying Mr. Stark, sir, Mr. Stark. He said Tony. And I was like, oh no, that got me. Ah, such a good movie. Right, back to Thor. Slightly more spoilery things. Oh my god. There is a reason that you did not see Thor in much of the trailer, or sneak peeks or any of these TV spots. There is a very good reason, and it is hilarious. It did get a little bit, I suppose, tired towards the end, and then you're thinking, yeah, this isn't really the Chris Hemsworth that we were expecting. Yes, I know, but it was so funny. So, it starts all, let me kill Thanos, and he does. Thanos goes out like a little in the first 10 minutes. I'm like, what the This was before they established the whole time travel thing. And so he chops off his arm when they go to find him on this planet with a garden, or so she called it the garden, I don't know. And so they grab him, and he's looking all, he's hunched, his arm is all withered, he's got this black, I don't know, stuff on his face that shows he's weak. He's flipping picking like space pumpkins or something. And I was not expecting War Machine's joke about, oh, he's got a retirement plan. That was actually true. What good call. So that was a little bit weird. So they catch him, chops off his arm, and after a bit of interrogating and yada yada yada, there's a kind of a nice moment between him and Nebula, as far as you can get with Thanos. Just chops his head off. I was like, so he's dead now? What the f***? But, and then they do a 5 years later shot, and the next time you see Thor, oh my god, he is a literal bum. He's got oh my god. So there was this joke about he only comes out once a month for supplies, and there's a big stack of beer, so funny. But then you get to his house and he's complaining about, what was it, the cable, and you see him, hair down to here, big beard, and he's got the biggest gut. It's just like, what the I'm sorry. Oh, but that was the funniest thing. And I have mixed feelings about how they decided to keep this. So he stayed in the fat suit throughout the entire film. And I love that they had commitment, but I was also like, where's the... But, oh well, it was still really hilarious. There's so much to talk about, but this is rambling on and on for quite a while. Let me see. Big moments. Okay, so the time travel wibbly wobbly stuff, very interesting, and also opens up, which I think everybody was expecting, this whole TV spin-off thing, or possibly a few more movies with Loki. Now, I don't know how they're going to get around this whole Captain America had to go back to put the stones back where they were before they nicked them, but Loki basically has the Tesseract now and buggered off. So that just seemed like a really weird tease, because by the film's own logic, it should be fixed now, because they couldn't change the past. This isn't back, they reference so many, many time travel movies, Back to the Future among one of them, Hot Tub Time Machine. I was like, very well done, Hot Tub freaking Time Machine. There were so many more, but they've gone out of my head. I'll see if I can remember a bit later. But, oh my god, that was funny. So, yeah, so there's a Loki thing, and also at the end of the film, they do this was an amazing one-track shot, by the way, of everybody standing on the lakeside of Tony's house at his, memorial service. So you see the wreath floating off with the original, thing, whatever this thing is called, arc reactor, with the proof that Tony Stark has a heart. That was the second time that kind of set me off. And then it pans out to, Pepper and his kid Morgan, and then to various other people, and you could see everything. And then at one point they focused on the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was like, where's Gamora?
Why is Gamora?
No. And she's missing at the end of the film when Thor joins the Guardians to kind of go off, and that's when the Machismo moment happens. But yeah, so that's an interesting thing, because this Gamora that we have now is past Gamora in the present. Wibbly wobbly. So she doesn't know these Guardians. She hasn't had the same relationship, even though she believes present, future Nebula. And also, how did they get around Nebula killing her past self and she's still alive? Because Paradox... Whatever, I don't care. It was an awesome movie. Right. Yes, so... I really enjoyed it. 100% would go and see it again. I'm just trying to think. There's so much, but it's like nearly 1 o'clock and my brain's going fizzy. Definitely going to see it again, because that was freaking awesome. If you feel so inclined, then yeah, go see it in 3D or even IMAX. There's a Dolby theatre where I am, which I might go into, but I don't know if my brain can handle, because there was a lot. 4D, I would possibly recommend avoiding unless you want backache, because that's going to hurt like a... Yeah, so much. The cinematography was pretty cool. Some of the effects got a bit sort of, generic superhero, like in the bit. Oh, no, sorry, there is something I need to talk about. Right. Okay, so after the snap is reversed, they don't do the of it was in the past, but it's just been a 5-year sort of, they've been asleep, which is pretty cool. But at one point, you've got Captain America, just kind of standing against Thanos, and he's like, I'm going to enjoy destroying your planet, blah, blah, blah. And then you hear, and it took me about 5-10 seconds to realise who was speaking on Cap's intercom. He's like, yeah, can you hear me? It's Sam. And I was like, what's the big deal? Oh, whoa, Sam, as in dusted Sam. And it was, and then it's a one portal opens up, or possibly it's a portal thing, Doctor Strange magic thing, and out comes Shuri, Okoye, and T'Challa, and I'm just like, oh yes, oh my god, and it just gets so much bigger from there, and it is a cluster of just everything happening and everyone showing up, literally everybody. Portal here, so you've got Wakanda, you've got where were they? Titan, you've got the Guardians, and Peter Parker. Apologies for the drop in quality, but my camera crapped out and I'm really annoyed, so I'm just having to use my webcam, and if I repeat myself, then also apologies. Right, okay, yes, the cluster of of a sort of final battle. There was so much going on, but I was thoroughly engaged throughout the entire thing. Could I have done with a bit more focus on sort of more focus on certain characters? Yes, but I just don't care, because you get to see everybody, because you get portal here, portal there, on the ground, in the sky. So you've got, as I've said, I'll start again just because I've lost my train of thought. Right, so you've got Wakanda, you've got the Titan planet with the Guardians and Peter coming back. Yay, Peter Parker's back, yay! That was satisfying. And then you've got the Asgardians, Valkyrie coming through on her winged horse, and you're like, yes, and it's amazing. Who else was there? But bloody everybody you've ever met. And I was like, I didn't even know you were still around. So I was like, yay! So you saw what's her face, Wanda Maximoff, she was there, and we're like, yeah, cool. I've not been a big fan of hers, if I'm honest, but she is a boss in this, so that is pretty cool. Right, so yeah, lots of things going on. There was some really cool, there was a really touching moment as well, where it was like, oh, Mr. Stark, hey, this is what happened, and he does this really cool little bit where he's, being eager Peter Parker, excuse me, and Tony's just like, hug, and I was like, yes! So this is what I wanted. So yeah, lots going on. And the way Thanos is finally defeated, as we've already said, but it was just, so well done, because it is so clever. The way they showed us everything happening, everything dusting, there goes nameless hench person number 15 or whatever. But they don't have Thanos going down in a blaze of glory, which I think, they might have been tempted to do, but I think what they did was really in character, because he sat there. It was very reflective of the end of Infinity War, in which he just sat and just kind of looked over what he had done, and reflecting on, yes, this was because of me, and now he's looking, going, this is because of me, and it's kind of sort of like, oh, all right, this is happening. So yeah, I think that really suited his character. So yeah, well done, fabulous. God, I really wish. When your recording equipment doesn't tell you when it's stopped. I can't actually remember what I've said. Okay, so I've talked about Thor climax. Right. Yes. Were there any problems in it? Yeah, I thought there were a few character moments that didn't, as in interactions, that didn't really work, or I suppose they worked, but they kind of rubbed me up the wrong way. Like at the beginning, emaciated Tony's been in space for however many weeks, and he sees Cap, and they immediately, after about a minute of screen time, they kind of get into this sort of, I needed you, Cap, where were you? Lies, trust broken, blah blah blah. I'm just like, really? Oh, come on, we've done this. We just move on from it. And we do, because 5 years later, you're like, okay, thanks very much. Oh, right, yeah, Captain America sort of holding this we'll be all right, yeah? In our circle, we share our feelings, yeah? We've all got to move forward, yeah? And really, that should have been everybody's first hint when he was talking about that to Nat, Black Widow. It should have been our first clue. Yeah, you guys are gonna kind of close off this little story arc yourselves, aren't you? With So with Nat, sacrificing herself, did I mention that? I really don't know. That's so annoying. But just in case I haven't, the Soul Stone thing happening and being all big drama. So her sacrificing herself, that was a big deal. And Cap, living his life, and he was like, yay, he's gone to be with Peggy, so that was sweet. And they finally got their dance together, and I was, yay, so that was cute. Yeah. What else? A few more negatives. I think the pacing in the first half dragged on a little too much. I mean, there were quick moments in there, but it just kind of seemed like we're waiting quite a long time for the awesome stuff to happen. Oh, cool, yay, action stuff, woohoo! But within the middle section, that's the strong part where I think, personally, where you've got a bit of a mix, so it's not all just action, like Infinity War felt sometimes, but you had a bit of a, like I said, a mix, so we had action, little bit of talking, a little bit of reflection, build up to action, conspiracy stuff happening, woo, and then back to action, and then of course that humongous climax where everything is just coming together. You're like, I'm pretty sure I was annoying the people next to me, because every now and then I was just kept going, yes, so this is probably why my sister hates going to the cinema with me. Oops. To be fair, I did do it silently, so right, okay, about the very end of the film, something I definitely know that I said before, something I definitely said before my camera crapped out. Wow, you have no opinion, you didn't see the movie. Shh. Wow, do you want to be in the video? Do you want to join me? Oh, there we go. Yeah, you okay? What did you think of it? Was it a satisfying conclusion to 10 years worth of movies? He agrees. Mwah. Off you go. Right, okay, so the very end. Yes, the internet articles are correct in that there is no end credit scene. There is an end credit thing, but I'll start right at the beginning of the credits. There's no mid-credit scene either, so don't bother with that. But it's worth staying, I think, personally, if you're a die-hard fan. I may not be a die-hard, know the comic continuity and all that, but I love the movies a lot, and I was just like, it's already 1:45, what's another 10 minutes going to be? So the first chunk of the credits is, how they've recently been doing these cool sort of visuals. This is sort of introducing the actors who played all of these, let's say, minor characters who, contribute a little bit to the plot. And then followed by the secondary sort of Avengers, Black Panther, Spider-Man, the Guardians, in a way. And then the third chunk of the cast, credits is really cool. You've got a short sort of clip montage behind them and a backlit sort of image silhouetted of the actor, starting with Jeremy Renner, with their signature in the middle, followed by Jeremy Renner. So that was pretty cool. And it ends with Robert Downey Jr. I was like, he punched me right in my feels. So that was really cool. I enjoyed watching all those visuals. As for the post-credit thing, it's not a scene, it's a sound. And again, if you've somehow made it this far into the video and have just spoiler again, it's not really a spoiler. It's the sound of a hammer and anvil. Now that was really interesting to me because it's two things, in my opinion. It's a nice throwback to the very first MCU movie, Iron Man, where Tony is forging his first arc reactor in the cave. But it's also a nice symbolic closing of one era, as in phase 1, 2, and 3, or the 10 years that accumulated up to Endgame, and the forging of a new generation of Marvel movies and Avengers. Deep. Oh. So if you're interested, then yes, stay for it. One more slight, I suppose it's kind of a negative, but I think it's a sort of Black Panther in Infinity War type situation. Captain Marvel could have done more. Although I suppose that, the two-edged sword there is that she's so powerful that she could have just ended it like that. Excuse me, didn't actually mean for that. But yeah, what she did when she came on, she was flipping awesome. I would have liked to see more of her. But again, it was almost as if in this when they were making this movie, they weren't sure how popular Captain Marvel was going to be. And so they kind of compensated it by making her super bad towards the end. I mean, she punched through, boom, Thanos' ship. I was like, yes, and his his face in reaction to that was pretty cool, pretty satisfying. Yeah, I would have liked to see a little bit more of her. Right, I'm now ending here. No more spoilers, so I'll put a timestamp. If you would like to share, what you thought of this, send me a PM or something. I'll put in some of my social media stuff in the thing. Don't put any spoiler comments in the comment section, please, because that is just not on. Keep the spoiler stuff to yourself. I mean, I've literally only told my friend one thing about this movie, and that is that Thor is the best thing in this, and that is it. And if by some unfortunate reason you have had this movie spoiled for you, don't let it spoil the movie, because I know it does suck and some people are jerks, but the journey can be more important than the destination, which I think we've kind of learned with all of these Marvel movies. Yes, it's amazing to have this final movie for this particular stage of the MCU, but we've enjoyed going on this journey from the high points of, Iron Man, Captain America Civil War, Thor Ragnarok, to the low points to Thor the Dark World and a few others I won't mention now. But it's all about the journey, and even though you know what's going to happen, that doesn't necessarily mean that you know how it's going to happen. And sometimes that can be a lot more interesting and engaging, especially if you're thinking, right, I'm going to be watching this a little bit more analytically, and let's see what decisions the filmmakers have made, and in terms of, direction, acting, plot. So think of it that way. So, yeah, thank you for sticking around with me. I'm aware this is a very long, tedious video from somebody you don't particularly care about their opinion, but thank you anyway if you've managed to stick with me for this long. It's now well past 1 in the morning. I better go to bed. Thanks very much, Internet, and I will see you later.